Great to be with you today. You may not be aware of this, but the world is 100% and absolutely waiting on you. And today when we talk about world, I want you to think of it this way. It can be as small as the family that you see and get to share life with every day, or it can be as big as the literal world that's around the globe. But it is waiting on you and I. And what it might be waiting for might be found in what is bothering you or in some way burdening you, challenges you, or encompasses everything about your thought and being right now this afternoon. It probably would be safe to say, if we were to take a poll of this entire audience, is there something in your life right now that is burdening, challenging, or consuming you? True? True. And anyone who didn't raise their hands, I classify a liar. So, it's true. And in fact, you might want to know how I know that. I have mad skills that can tell that. That's why I have a hard time with people that are mind readers, don't you? By the way, you in the front row, let me guess, you have people problems, right? Skills, right there. Okay, so what I want you to know is this. When we are talking about these things that do consume us, that we do want to say are just conflicts, challenges, burdens, they will always involve people, correct? Can you ever think of one where it doesn't involve people? And when we look at the people problems that you and I share, I want you to consider something that maybe you don't consider every day as you're driving in your car, and it's this. It's a quote that often I think is given to Einstein, but I've heard so many people say it, and it's whatever level of thinking got us to the issues you have right now is not going to be the thinking that gets us out of it, right? But yet, isn't that what we tend to do, is to do the same things over and over and over and expect a different result? That is Einstein, and he warned us of it. So, right now in this moment, I'm about to present to you something that I promise can introduce into your life and into us as a community a new perspective and possibly the chance to shift something foundationally in your life that can make a difference. That's a pretty big promise, right? It is. But here's the facts right now. The world is waiting on you and I to adjust. To, if you would, here's the buzzword, to adapt. Now, I know that that's kind of a weird thing, and I'm going to let that disappointment just melt off you for a moment. But adapting. We definitely are at a point in time where there's nothing more that we need than just to see some people who can adapt. Now, I understand why that doesn't sound too good. I think I get it. Because if there was, let's say, an organization in the world, and we'll call it Club Adapt, the logo on their shirt probably wouldn't be very exciting. It would be something like hashtag facing the crowd. Hashtag I used to have a personality. Right? Hashtag just blend in. You know, it just doesn't have the same appeal as it does when we start talking about what we might perceive as the opposite of actually adapting. And it doesn't have that go-get-it spirit. I totally get it. And I think it even goes deeper than that. Because when we start talking about adapting, I often believe we associate words and ideas with it that aren't positive, but in fact, maybe on the negative side of things. Often I believe people who adapt are perceived as weak. Perceived as weak. For instance, the person who says, this is the way I am and you're just going to live with it, sees an adapting person as weak. Very, very weak. In fact, I've often loved it being a business owner when I make an adapting decision and I have another team member come in and say, why can't you just do the right thing? Well, adapting looks weak. It can to others, depending on their mindset. Or it might look forced. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you'll hear a story about adapting and it's almost as if the person felt like they were a victim? I had no choice. I had to do it. I was forced. But yet we're never robbed of that choice or that opportunity. But yet it was perceived that way. As I only adapted, I only adjusted, if you would, because I had to. I had no other choice. And it just seems like also the other one I want to bring up is uninspired. Have you noticed that as well? Well, if they could come up with their own idea, or maybe if they could just get excited, they could do something on their own. But adapting is actually none of those things. It's none of those things at all. And in fact, I would suggest that adapting is exactly the opposite. In an age when you're looking for someone who has the courage, you're looking for a leader, you're looking for someone to take the lead, I believe adapting is more needed and more the first step than maybe ever we've realized before. Because when we approach the whole topic here, I know that we have three choices. You know, as a pastor, we always heard Paul's writing of there's faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. Well, I believe there's three now too. And it goes something like this. When you and I are faced with needing to take a stand or a message, we have three choices as well. It's to stand, or it's to protest, or it's to adapt. Now, I want you to think about, not stand, to separate. But when we separate, I want you to think about this. Separating is choosing that I'm going to disengage from this. And it might be because they don't agree, you don't agree with their ideas. However, if we are talking about people problems, isn't engaging the first way to solving those problems? Instead of stepping away. Let me give you an example. For instance, my wife loves it when I say, hey, honey, I'm 100% dedicated to you 360 days out of the year, right? I need to engage it. I need to take it on. So I could separate, but it's not going to solve the problems we have. Or I could protest. The problem with protest is it seems to have a new way of working in our day and age. Protest is, I'll change when. I'll change when you decide to do this, and if you think I'm way off, it's being lived right out in front of us. I'll stand for the anthem when, and I don't even know when is. Protest. But adapt. If I adapt, it's me coming to you, or it's me coming to my world, and I'm saying, here I am. All of me, every bit of it is here for you. It's me 100% engaged. It's me committed, and it's me everything I've got. And what happens as a result of that is change. Actual change. So here's the suggestion I have for you today. It's this. It's as you prepare to leave this conference and actually look at your workplace, your family, the community, the city you live in, I would suggest you have an adapting mindset. Because in the mindset that we have today, the perspective is different. The perspective we should have is I'm in. I'm 100% there. I'm 100% committed, and you can count on me to give whatever I need. Why is that so important? Because in a world where I think we're taught and almost in some ways preached that from the voices on TV to the noise we hear on the radio, is that the more individualistic we are, the more free, the more best we are. I know that's the wrong use of English, and I apologize, but I wanted to share best because this is what I believe. The more we adapt, the best stuff comes out of us. I don't believe the best comes when we want others to adjust to what we believe is best about us. The best comes out of me when I come to you and say, here I am with all of this. What do you need from me? My best is coming. It will come because the group needs it. Our world needs it. The shift is this. We live in a world that seems to want you and I to adjust to their desires, their wants, their beliefs. What would it be like to be in a world where instead we adjust? I'm not saying you lose yourself, your skills, and what makes you unique, but we instead adjust to this. Here I am, Women Ignite, all of me, and what do you need? How many times have you heard that at home, in your workplace, and in your city? If we make that adjustment, it's a paramount shift in the way that things operate, the way people think. And I'm promising you that when we become a people of adjusting, of adapting, we become a people that actually changes the world. We become a people that actually can see things occur. Because I can tell you this, when you choose to separate, nothing's going to happen. You're just going to separate. When you choose to protest, sure, you might make a difference, but when you choose to adapt, people come together and the best comes out of everybody. So here's your invitation. Club Adapt, it's now real. # I'm a super adapter. How's that? All right, thank you.